Maybe it's already recorded. Maybe you're on YouTube. Maybe you are watching this live. I don't know. I am looking at class ITSC 1411 currently. Oh, I gotta log in. Awesome. And let me go directly to that again. I really dislike the new version of Blackboard where it gives you that navigation bar on the left that just won't go away unless you turn it off like I did. Okay, web mode is on. It should be on, thank you. And now I'll begin. So I don't have the proper link. I will need to update that soon. I need to give you week 5. We're on week 6. Maybe all of this will be edited out by the time you see this. I hope so. So what I'm working on, I'm looking at right now, let me go first of all to the lessons and assignments. This is for ITSC 1411 week 6, Bootstrap 6.1. We're going to create a Bootstrap site. And the reason why I'm recording this video, even though there's a perfectly fine video already provided to you, is because we found out today that they have upgraded and it's a little bit different, but thankfully it's the same concept. Bootstrap has not changed that much in its ways since this last was recorded. So what is Bootstrap exactly? It is a framework of CSS and HTML templates that will help you devise brand new websites without much coding, without much thinking about it, hopefully without spending too much money. We also found out today that there are a lot of new paid-for templates out there. I'll walk myself through this again as I did earlier today. I need to find, first of all, a website space to actually publish this. And let's see how well available this may be. I'm going to my old ITSC 1411 GitHub. I'm going to click on week 6 and see what's happening here. And I think that maybe this already has something, and it looks like, yes, indeed, it has an older version of Bootstrap. This is in week 6 in index.html. Something that I can do is most definitely start to edit this page. I'm going to use the dot development. I just clicked on the period. I would have thought that I have already done this before. I'm going to pick the dark, and in week 6, like I said, this already has an older version of Bootstrap. I'm going to right click on week 6 and create a new folder. The new folder will be called Bootstrap, and inside of this folder I'm going to create a brand new index.html. I'll create a new file and call it that, index.html. And there it is. It's pretty blank. As we found out earlier, we don't need to bring in another template because the templates provided by Bootstrap work just fine. What templates am I talking about? Well, the good thing about Bootstrap is that the directions have been curated and looked at and massaged, and they are great, and they really help you put together a Bootstrap site. And the links provided to you in the assignments give plenty of information about how to get this done. First of all, let's go to the Bootstrap page. I'll click on that one, and although this clicked originally to the older Bootstrap, it's okay because it's been updated to version 5.11. I think that the latest one before that was 4.6. The one on the previous video might have been version 3. And we can download and get all the code and put it on our website or on our computer and have it all over the place. But what's good about Bootstrap is that it has a CDN attached to it. That means that the code is going to be provided elsewhere. It's code as a service. And let's get going on the installation. They give you lots of information about how to do this from from the command line. They tell you that you're going to be using the Sass and JavaScript files, the things that make this template work. And they use a property, or rather a device called JavaScript Deliver that will actually bring this to you. These are just links that we're going to be adding to the code of our original page once we get started on it. So let's get started. And the next window tells me that there's an introduction to get started with Bootstrap. They tell you more about it, about the processes that they use to get JavaScript to you, or more importantly to the page. I know that eventually I'm going to have to get a link to the CSS. This is the CDN CSS. Earlier I looked up what CDN stands for. I always forget. JavaScript, same thing. It's going to be dependent on a link to another page. I recommended the bundle. Luckily though, they give you the starter template, which already has all of these links attached to it. What is the starter template? It's basically just that, just like I've given you in previous lessons, a template to get started on an HTML page. This does the same thing. It has declares the page as an HTML5, which, by the way, turns out that the latest version of Bootstrap needs to be HTML5 only. I select all the text and I'll copy it. I'm going to go back to my Visual Studio where I was doing this, and right-clicking and pasting what I just copied. Allow to paste, sure, and here's the text. So this basically is just a template that says here's a web page. It may have a title at some point. It's going to have a purpose. It's going to say hello world. It loads the CDN for the CSS, that is the Bootstrap CSS right here. You can see what the CSS looks like by copying this link and visiting it on a browser. Right click and copy. I'll open up a new tab, right click and paste, and go to, and well, I wouldn't find it because I probably missed something or added something. Did I go too far on that? Maybe I did. Well, trust me that it's there somewhere. It looks like, okay, so this line is really, really long and I didn't copy everything or copy too much. Let me try that again. And I'll take it all the way to where? To just before the quote there. I wish that I had turned on the break lines. I don't know if I can do that on the dot development. I'm sure you can. I'll use the keyboard to help me. So just to go all the way to the quote, I'll write. I messed it up. You know what? I'll find this link and I'll share it with you later. So let's try this out. I'm going to go into my source control and tell it to actually commit this. So I'll just say that I added a Bootstrap template inside this new directory that I call Bootstrap. I will commit the changes by accepting with the check mark and give this a few seconds to update. While that is happening, I'm going to go back to my dot development. I should have stayed there. I should have opened this in a new tab. Let's do that really quick. What I mean by that is go back to GitHub, find the repository where I'm working, ITSC 1411, find the suite where I'm at. I know I created this Bootstrap just now. I'll click on the dot. No, I will not click on the dot actually. I'll go back because I already have the dot open. What good is it? I need to find out where this page is being published. I can find that out in the settings and checking out the pages. The pages tell me that my site is currently being published at ittprof.com/itsc1411. This is not on the root folder, that is, that I'm not using a .io template for this site. Instead, I'm using GitHub Pages, which is free, also included with GitHub, and I'm basically working in a branch of my repository. That's how I have so many websites, even though I only have one repository. That comes in real handy. I'll open the link in the new tab, and it just tells me, okay, well, this is ITSC 1411, the website that you're using. I know that I created a new folder called Bootstrap. And let's see what's there. Currently, it's a 404. I think that I created index.html. It may still be publishing, and there may be an error right now in publishing, and that's fine. If there's an error, I can always wait a little bit longer. It looks to me like, yes, there is an index.html that should be inside of Bootstrap inside of week 6. The page is not found currently because I told it to go to ITSC 1411, but not to week 6. Let's try that again. Week 06 /bootstrap /index.html, and there's my hello world. This is a very basic page. It doesn't look like much, except that I know that it's already got a little bit of coding in it. It's got some CSS applied to it because the H in hello is very close to the left. That means that it has been reset and rebooted and just buffed around the edges so that it's starting to look like a real web page. If I right click and look at the page source, there's the page, the template that I just created and delivered. I'll close that, but I'll keep this one open so I can come back and monitor any changes. I don't think that I need to have the pages open anymore. I will figure that out later. And I'm back to this page. This is the very most basic Bootstrap page that you can have. It just says hello world. It doesn't have anything else to it. But it's already got the links that are attaching the CSS on my line 9. And it's already calling up the JavaScript on line 19. There's also some of the other scripts that are being brought in. I don't remember specifically if the Bootstrap application will bring all of that in on its own when I get the next sample. And I think that my problem was that I went and I clicked on themes, which turned out to be very, very commercial. Some of these cost $60, they cost $39, they have odd pricing, and you don't need to spend any money for this class. I don't want you to spend any additional money on this class. Use free resources. And earlier today, what had happened is that I did not find the free resources on this page, although there may still be in there somewhere. I'll have to come back and see them. There is another page. I will add this link to the assignment, startbootstrap.com, which has lots of commercial Bootstrap themes, yes, but it's also got some free ones. And the one that I'd like to use, at least to get started, is going to be this one, the business front page. You can see a live preview of what this looks like. If you watch any of the old videos, you'll see that it looks a little bit like this. Yes, a big screen, a blank screen with nothing. Let me reload that. And I'm probably blocking it here somehow. Maybe it's got an ad attached to it because it's part of the site. But it looks like this. It's got 3 columns and it's got a billboard on top. Let's view the source code. And actually here's a GitHub page where you can come and find the actual site. I'll come back to the sample beyond their GitHub and forget about the live preview, and hopefully I can get the free download if I click on this big red button. So let me get this into my desktop. I'm going to create a new folder and call it Bootstrap. Just put it wherever you can find it. This helps me locate it. It's got the zip with everything. I'll save it. I'll follow the download by showing in folder. I know you probably can't see that below, but the folder is this one. It's a zip page with everything that I need. I'm going to right click and tell it to extract all in the same folder. And now I have this folder that has its own index page, JavaScript, CSS, and assets. I think what we discovered is that the index is quite benign in that it's already working, and maybe we can just keep on using it rather than the page that we have there, or at least the page that I have there right now, just to make it look like it was worth something and it was not just here for nothing. I'm going to rename this index.html to something else so that it's still there in case I need it later. Can I rename? Yes, F2. And I'll call this index 2. Just because I made a couple of changes, I'm going to commit my changes that I have here currently. I'll click on the source control, deliver a message that says updated some files while index is updated, and commit this change. That just saves it there. Go back to my files. I'm still working in Bootstrap. Index 2 will be there in case I ever need it. I do want to bring in the files that I just downloaded, and we found out earlier that the easier way to do this is to actually get the directory here, and everything that you need you can select locally, click and drag it onto the directory where you need, and it will upload. It copied from local to remote. It copied from our client server, or rather from our client to the server. Now that these files are here, let me update by selecting the source control. It's telling it that I uploaded the theme files. Don't need to press enter. I'll just click on the check mark. And changes have been committed since you started. Well, I thought that I had committed in time, but I guess I didn't. It's telling me that there's some files up there that are not down here. So I'll try to sync, that is, it's going to push some files at the same time as it pulls. And try this again. Resolve any conflicts. It's not gonna like it. I had this problem not so long ago. Let me close index, the first one, index 2, the second one. I don't know that I need this right now. Go back to my source. Hopefully you don't have these issues as I'm having now. I'll try to commit again. You must resolve any pending conflicts. Do I need to create a pull request? Do I need to look at this? Okay, so let's try to refresh and see if anything happens correctly. If it doesn't, I'm basically just going to have to start from scratch on some of the uploads. Week 6 Bootstrap, it's all there. It's telling me that there's some things that are being staged. What might need to happen also is that I might have to switch to my other client to do this. Let me see what changes are pending. Let me look at the client down here. It tells me there's no problems in some places. What if I try to sync by clicking this icon? Nothing. Okay, well that's embarrassing. This has incoming changes and current changes. Let me close that. Merge conflicts, I have one, and it's this index page in the Bootstrap folder. I wonder if I can go into my GitHub, which I had open at some point. You go to week 6 and Bootstrap, and index 2 is still there. It's index that it doesn't want to necessarily pull up. I think basically because index 2 is still trying to download or upload, or there's an index 2 elsewhere, or index 2 used to be indexed and it doesn't like the fact that there's 2 index pages in the same directory. What a mess. I should just delete the whole thing and start anew. Merge conflicts. Just right clicking and discard all changes. The file will be forever lost. Oh no, delete. That's cool, that's awesome. Let's see what's going on here, if I can commit any changes. Basically I just killed all the files. Because why not? Meanwhile, week 6 tells me that I still have my index page. I have this index page outside, so index 2, it's here, and the index page that is supposed to be here was conflicting with the old index, which is now index 2. Since I had saved all this junk, I'm going to reload index into my Bootstrap. Hopefully you don't have this horrible mess that I have. Index is now in there, and I'm going to accept this by saying trying index again and see if that will commit. And maybe it will. Of course, I won't know until it actually uploads. While it's doing that, let's see what else is happening. Well, there's an index, trying index again, what I just sent in. It's got the assets, etc., etc. And if I recall correctly, which I really don't, where this is, I can always go back and look in my settings and look at the pages, because I have the memory of one of the characters in the Pixar movie, Finding Dory, I think. My site is published here. I will open that. My hello world is there, as per usual. I'll see if I can go to week 06. And instead of week 06, I have other stuff. I'm interested in the thing that I'm working in, you know, the Bootstrap. And the Bootstrap now is respecting the index that was loaded straight from that page, and it's running. If you want to make any changes, and you should make some pages, or changes rather to the page, you can directly go into the HTML in GitHub, or more specifically, whatever client you're using. You could be using Atom for all this. There's a lot of content on that page. You can inspect it to see where everything lies here. The very quick example that I had this morning, present your business in a whole new way. We know that this is the main headline. And you can find that fairly quick by saying, okay, well, I know that we have a nav bar somewhere. We have that navigation on top. Start Bootstrap, home, about, contact. These are all links and CSS menus that you can change. You just need to add the content. Present your business in a whole new way. This is the headline. We change this text really quick by doing just that, selecting H1 and saying this is my Bootstrap page. Why not? What else? We have some columns, feature title, paragraph of text. I can do a search for paragraph of text beneath the heading rather, and I can say that this is where my column 1 text will go, and update this. I'll click on the commit button. I'll say changed H1 added text to first column, and commit. It's moving pretty fast. Maybe nobody's working on GitHub right now. I doubt that. I think that people are working on this all the time. It'll take it a few seconds. I can check it out in my GitHub page. GitHub, go to the right repository, ITSC 1411. I'm working inside of week 6. It's telling me that it's already 26 seconds ago I moved that. Bootstrap, index, etc. Let's try to reload this. This is my Bootstrap page. Feature title, and this is where my column 1 text will go. So all of the CSS is already done for you. So that's great. It's already responsive, which means that if you were to treat this or look at this in a web application style that is on a mobile device, that it will flow the way it's supposed to. And this was almost as accidental as the preview that I walked through this morning, but not so much. I think that if I were to do this video again, I would do a little bit better. Hopefully you caught everything that's going on. For this assignment, make sure that you publish the Bootstrap, that you're using a theme, that you change some, if not all, of the text. You can use another free theme if you can find one, and I'm sure you can. And then wherever it is that you're publishing the URL, this is what I'm looking for to turn in. This is for your grade for 6.1. Sorry for the missteps. Sorry for the. Did I swear? I don't think I did. So I'll give myself a quarter for that. We'll see you in the next video.